Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers reasonable suspicion, use of force, and obstructing, and is brought to us by Rejects Media's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. Before we dive into the interaction, let's talk about something I've been using lately from the sponsor of today's video. It's called Fume, and no, it's not a vape, it's not an e-cig, and it's not pretending to be either. It's a flavored air device that's actually satisfying to use, especially if you've ever found yourself reaching for something out of habit, whether it's from stress, boredom, or just keeping your hands busy. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that draws flavor to your mouth, not your lungs, which makes it a great way to satisfy your oral fixation with non-toxic flavors. Free from nicotine or vapor, and it's safe to use anywhere. Whether you're looking to keep your hands busy or curb an urge, Fume's premium wooden design is built for both flavor and function. The magnetic fidget features add an extra layer of satisfaction, making it perfect for relieving stress or staying focused. If vapor was compared to sticky soda, Fume cores are closer to herbal teas. Fume has lots of delicious flavors to choose from, like crisp mint and orange vanilla. With flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, vapor, or combustion. I'm loving the spearmint ice flavor, and the clicky and spinny parts of the device keeps my hands busy whenever I'm bored. Fume has already helped over 500,000 people build better habits. Try Fume today, and if you order the Journey Pack now using my code AUDIT, you'll get a free Fume topper, an awesome accessory to level up your experience. Go to tryfume.com/audit or scan the QR code on screen. Thanks again to Fume for sponsoring today's episode. On March 6th, 2024, Mike Simons, his son Damien, and their friend Jonathan were staying overnight at Mr. Simons' shop to work on restoring a 1940 Chevy panel van. At around 9 p.m., Damien and Jonathan walked out to Mr. Simons' car to get some of their possessions from the vehicle. Deputy Tyree Holdridge of the Douglas County Sheriff's Office in Nevada was on patrol when he saw them accessing the vehicle and stopped to investigate. The interaction that followed was captured by various officer body cameras, as well as Damien and Jonathan's cell phones.
Good. What are you guys doing? Is this your vehicle?
Father's?
Do you guys have your IDs on you?
No.
Not at all?
Tell us what we did wrong?
Yeah, you're in a business area. And it's
Our
all
business?
closed, and I don't know this is your dad's vehicle. Actually, why don't you have a seat? Have a seat right here.
Oh, the door open? Actually.
Have a seat.
Sorry, I don't listen to you.
Have a seat. 318, can I get a second? You have a seat right here.
Don't touch me. Don't touch it. Get the off me!
10-10.
Guys, the cop on me! Get him off!
I said get on the ground. Alright?
There's a cop on me! Get him off! You're choking me! Get him off! Jonathan, record the...
I said get on the ground. I don't know what you're doing.
What did I
Have
do
a seat
wrong?
on the ground right now.
What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Is your camera on?
Yeah, it's on.
Get the off of me! Ow! Get off!
Leo, roll on your stomach.
No! I'm not listening to you! Get the off of me! Start recording. End the call.
318.
End the call, start recording, please. End the call, start recording.
Get another unit.
Yeah, ID number. Give me your ID number. Where's the sheriff?
Stay right there.
Get the off of me! Ah, mother...
Get on the
Ow!
ground.
Why?
Because I said.
911.
What did we do wrong?
I told you what.
What's the charge?
What's the charge? Get the off me! You're
Did you
hurting
take an
me!
oath to the Constitution? Because I did. I'm just wondering that, like, I'm a
Am
veteran.
I under arrest? Tell me, am I under arrest?
You're being detained.
Over what? Over what?
We're here. We're allowed to be here.
I don't know that.
We're working on a car.
I don't.
That's my car.
Hey!
That's my
I don't
car.
know this is your car. It looked like somebody was breaking into your car. I did.
That's your action? No probable cause? No investigation? Just put him down.
Just gonna straight jump up on me, huh? Real gang member, huh? Real big man, huh?
Have the shop behind Douglas Radiator.
Off of me.
I don't know that.
Lose your job.
Telling ya.
Okay, well, I'll wait till my partners get here until we get
Get the off of me.
You have no reason. You have no probable cause.
I do.
Over what? Say it. Say your legal probable cause. Your legal probable
right
cause.
They have keys to the car.
I'm recording, yeah.
How far are the ends out?
It's like you never read the Constitution, man.
I hope you lose your job.
Move. What's up, tyrant?
Yeah, put the light on camera. Go ahead.
Do they teach you
Saw your
this in
face
the
already.
academy?
Got it.
Like,
Don't worry.
Is that
On
what
your
goes
ID
down
number.
in the
You're
academy?
legally required. Give me your ID. Just give me your ID. Go on.
One from the station and one.
You keep putting pressure on me.
It'd be nice to get the badge number or something.
Yeah, badge number.
That'd
You're
be
legally
good.
supposed to. I'm gonna put this one hand.
Roll over to your stomach.
No, I'm not listening. Why would I listen to you? Oh yeah, you have a face too. Yeah, you're a real big man.
Tough guy.
You're a piece of shit. I hope you know that. I didn't do
102 en route from 395 and 90.
Keys to the car.
I asked him his name. He didn't want to give it to me.
legally don't require
You
to.
don't have to, man. This is America.
Criminal.
I don't know that.
Go do an investigation. A
you're
real
SWAT,
one. Not
too?
this.
You're swab.
I hope you lose your job.
Yep, get some backup here for somebody who's got the keys. You're gonna find out whose car it is.
Okay, well, then that's all I wanted to do.
Lose your job.
I wanted to
Get the f up. Quit cool on me. I ain't doing you.
Stop.
Low life scum.
Put him in handcuffs. Him? Hit this guy right
Hey,
here.
over what? Over what? What'd I do? Over what?
Hey, don't move.
What did I do?
Let me get his hand. I got his hand. I got his hand. I got his hand.
Okay, when are you gonna listen?
He's not relaxed.
Well, did you fight him?
No.
All right, we'll stay.
Went up and booked him.
Give me the other hand. Give me the other hand. Give me your other hand.
You break my phone, you're paying for it.
Give me your hand.
I ain't doing to you.
Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
Big man, come on. Oh yeah,
Hey, listen, put your hand behind your back.
Hey, chill. You're not breaking the law right now.
Well, we don't know that,
You're
do
breaking the
we?
law right now. What's your RA? Oh, yeah. Reasonable articulate suspicion. What is your yeah? What is it?
You're in a black parking lot underneath a car.
Underneath
in
the
a
car. You
closed
supposed to get in the
business.
car.
After Damien refuses to identify himself or comply with Deputy Tyree's order to sit down, Deputy Tyree grabs Damien's right wrist. Damien begins to pull away, and Deputy Tyree slams him into the side of the Honda and then throws him to the ground, where he holds him until other officers arrive on scene. As we have discussed many times before here on ATA, the Fourth Amendment requires that officers have at least reasonable articulable suspicion of criminal activity in order to lawfully detain and identify a citizen. This constitutional limitation is codified in Section 171.123 of the Nevada Revised Statutes, which also creates a duty for citizens to identify themselves during such a detention, stating that, quote, any person so detained shall identify himself or herself, but may not be compelled to answer any other inquiry of any peace officer. However, it is unlikely that a court would conclude that Damien was obligated to provide his name, as Deputy Tyree almost certainly did not have reasonable suspicion to support the detention. While it is conceivable that seeing two men accessing a vehicle at night could raise suspicion of auto burglary or theft, any potential suspicion that Deputy Tyree possessed was dispelled almost immediately when Damien and Jonathan showed him that they had the car keys and thus apparent lawful access to the vehicle. Likewise, although courts recognize that officers have the authority to issue reasonable orders to ensure officer safety and maintain the status quo during a lawful investigatory detention, because there was no valid basis to detain Damien, a court would likely conclude that he had no legal obligation to submit to law enforcement commands, such as Deputy Tyree's order to quote-unquote sit. Accordingly, it is also probable that Deputy Tyree's use of force against Damien was unconstitutional. Now, even assuming for the sake of argument that Damien was required to identify himself and comply with the order to sit, there still is a strong argument that Deputy Tyree's use of force was excessive. Applying the Graham factors to this situation, the suspicion suspected offense was minor at best, as the original suspicion of vehicle theft had been debunked, and the remaining issue was merely Damien's non-compliance in refusing to ID himself and sit. Likewise, there is no evidence that Damien posed a safety threat, as he was unarmed and made no threatening gestures or actions, and was not suspected of a violent crime. Finally, although Damien did pull his arm away when Deputy Tyree grabbed his wrist, this was a defensive resistance to being grabbed rather than an aggressive attack, and he was not attempting to flee the scene. As the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Nevada, outlined in the 2011 case of Matos versus Agorano, quote, "Although the police are entitled to use force when they reasonably believe a suspect poses a danger, the use of force must be proportional to the gravity of the threat. A court could easily conclude that slamming a non-violent, non-threatening suspect into a car, throwing him to the ground, and forcibly holding him there for an extended period of time was a disproportionate response in these circumstances, and therefore unconstitutional."
We're inside. He told you exactly what
I
we're
thought
doing.
that was his.
Why don't you do the research instead of wrapping him up?
I asked them who they were, and I asked for their IDs.
And what they say?
I don't need to listen
Well,
to
I
you.
don't. He's so smart like that, but you have no. You
This
didn't
is-
see
you
a
have to
crime.
look
You didn't see a crime yet.
I did. Yes,
Where?
did.
No, you
I
didn't.
drove.
It's my car.
I don't know that. You want to be
Yeah.
a fucking tough guy?
My hands are right here. Go ahead.
Put your hand. You want to detain him?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, because we're gonna get through all this. And by the way, I have a CCW. And it's
You have a
on
gun
the
on you?
fucking
Hold him
side
right
of me.
there.
So don't try. Oh, now you're gonna come bully me.
Don't grab my fingers. Stop. Hey, put your hand back here.
What do you want? He's over here wrapping my fingers.
We're going
up
to
like a
detain you.
bully.
We're going to
Now
detain you.
he's doing the same shit he did to my son. Go ahead. Yeah, welcome to Gardnerville.
Got him.
You feel safer now?
Where's the gun?
On the spot on the f***ing right side.
I got it. I got a gun here. Catch it. Get out of here. Stay right there.
I'm sorry, Dad. Tyrants. I have the shop, if you're listening for the fourth time, behind Douglas. Behind. I was calling you when I came up screaming at you because you're over.
I'm just watching him. He's fine. You're going to jail.
Deputy Tyree tells Damien that he's going to jail for quote-unquote obstructing. Under Nevada's obstructing statute, which is found in section 197.190 of the Nevada Revised Statutes, quote, "Every person who shall refuse or neglect to make or furnish any statement, report, or information lawfully required of the person by any public officer, or who shall willfully hinder, delay, or obstruct any public officer in the discharge of official powers or duties, shall be guilty of a misdemeanor." Nevada's resisting statute, which is codified in section 199.280 of the Revised Statutes, also prohibits obstructing an officer, stating that, quote, "A person who, in any case or under any circumstances not otherwise specifically provided for, willfully resists, delays, or obstructs a public officer in discharging or attempting to discharge any legal duty of his or her office shall be punished." In the 2004 case of Hybel versus 6th Judicial District Court of Nevada, the Supreme Court determined that an individual could be convicted of violating section 199.280 for refusing to identify themselves during a lawful Terry stop. However, in the 2024 case of Sykes versus City of Henderson, the U.S. District Court for the District of Nevada explained that, quote, "For an individual to violate this statute by refusing to identify himself, the officer's request for identification must be reasonably related to the circumstances justifying the stop. The Supreme Court of the United States has upheld the constitutionality of stop and identify statutes only if the underlying stop was justified at its inception by reasonable suspicion that the individual committed a crime. Accordingly, because, as we discussed earlier, it is highly unlikely that Deputy Tyree had reasonable suspicion to believe that Damien had engaged in criminal activity, it is likewise improbable that a court would conclude that Damien could be lawfully arrested for obstruction for refusing to identify himself. Additionally, although the Court of Appeals of Nevada concluded in the 2024 case of Wilson versus 1st Judicial District Court in and for County of Carson City that refusing to obey a lawful order can constitute physical conduct that hinders, delays, or obstructs an officer, as we explored earlier, it is unlikely that Deputy Tyree's order that Damien Damian quote-unquote sit was lawful given the probable lack of reasonable suspicion to authorize a detention.
Who's the boss? Where is your boss? Who's the one on strike? Who's the one out? Where?
Sergeant, now!
Where's the sergeant now? Which one's the sergeant? Not you. Not you over there, big boy. Not you. Where's the sergeant?
You already came over here twisting me up and playing the same. You did with my son, you tyrant!
I wasn't doing that, you tyrant.
Oh yeah, I'm the tyrant.
2105.
What's your dad's name?
Of course you did. It's your
Did you run the plate already?
I haven't run anything. I just drove by and I saw two guys going to the back door. So I contacted him and he was cooperative. Asked him what his name was. He told me to off.
He was going in this back door here?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, the car?
So I told him to come have a seat. He came over and stood over
This is
there.
Timmy's shop.
This, yeah, it's Timmy's
This is
shop.
Timmy's shop.
I'll call him.
Yeah.
My tyrants!
What's your name? What's your dad's name? Who is that? Is that your brother then?
Helping them work on a vehicle.
Why don't you push me up against the truck, bully?
I'm just detaining you.
Oh,
You're
'cause I
detained.
was putting up a fight, right?
Well, you have a gun on you and you're acting up.
I have a CCW.
It doesn't matter, but your
Run the
demeanor.
fucking
You
plates
see what you
and
mean? Your
shut
demeanor.
up. Shut up and do your job and run the plates.
Where is your boss?
Deputy Tyree argues that he was authorized to detain Mr. Simons because he had a gun in his possession and was, quote-unquote, acting up. Although the infamous Terry case determined that officers have the authority to detain individuals based on reasonable suspicion of criminal activity, the Supreme Court clarified in the 2006 case of Sampson versus California that, quote, the touchstone of the Fourth Amendment is reasonableness, not individualized suspicion. Thus, while this court's jurisprudence has often recognized that to accommodate public and private interests, some quantum of individualized suspicion is usually a prerequisite to a constitutional search or seizure, we have also recognized that the Fourth Amendment imposes no irreducible requirement of such suspicion. Now, some courts have applied this principle to approve of suspicionless detentions of the so-called companion of an individual who is the subject of a lawful Terry stop. For instance, in the 2012 case of United States versus Lewis, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals concluded that officers did not violate the Fourth Amendment by briefly detaining an individual without any suspicion of criminal activity when they had reasonable suspicion to detain other members of his group, two of which were armed. The court concluded that, quote, officers may, in some circumstances, briefly detain individuals about whom they have no individualized reasonable suspicion of criminal activity in the course of conducting a valid Terry stop as to other related individuals. However, because the Terry stop that Deputy Tyree was conducting on Damian was likely unlawful, and as we will discuss further later in this episode, Deputy Tyree likely had no reason to believe that Mr. Simons was involved in criminal activity, Mr. Simons would have a strong argument that detaining him in handcuffs was unreasonable and therefore unconstitutional, as an officer's general concern for so-called officer safety is not an independent justification allowing officers to detain a citizen.
Yeah, what? Yeah, exactly. I want badge numbers. I want
There goes the TV.
And I want your sergeant now. They're getting their bedding so they can make a bed in the loft out of my car. My son.
Relax, okay?
You're not.
I'm relaxed. I'm just holding you here for now because you're acting up, okay?
You already came over here twisting me up and playing
No.
the same bullshit you
No,
did
I
with
wasn't
my
twisting up.
son, you tyrant.
I wasn't doing that, you tyrant.
Oh yeah, I'm the tyrant.
Yeah, you are.
As my kid calls me screaming on the ground.
I didn't know that, okay?
Of course you didn't, because you're ignorant.
Well, I just got on scene trying to find out what's going on and you're acting up like this, okay?
Yeah, because you're way past point. You know you stepped out.
Like I said, you are detained for now.
Yeah, I know, for no reason. No probable cause.
Yes, there is.
What, for me yelling? I have a no First Amendment? Huh, tyrant?
You can talk, but when you're acting like this, it gives us,
Dude, you shut up.
for our safety.
You say nothing. I never gave you any probable cause for any of this.
Oh, there goes that. That's that. Hey,
You want to
is this car open so we can stuff him in there? Is this car? This truck?
Please, don't you need my ID first?
Hey, Holdridge. You want to put him in your car for now?
Your name?
Mike Simon. Run the plate. Please.
Alright, are you gonna listen to me?
I don't know.
So if I'm a cop, I'm driving by, your car's right there, I see two guys getting in the back door.
Getting their stuff.
I contact them to see if they're...
stuff.
Would you shut the up?
No, please, come.
I'm trying to explain where I'm coming from.
I got it.
I don't know that's your car.
All you had to do was light him up and ask him.
I did.
And stay right here.
I did.
Have him call his
That
father.
kid that's on the ground right there sat down like I asked because I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
He's a veteran. Of course he's going to be a little bit more
The other
compliant.
kid told me to off.
Yeah.
So what's that make me think? Does that make it think
Doesn't
that's
make
your car?
you any reason to slam him on the ground.
I asked him to have a seat.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's breaking into your car.
You know what unlawful order is? Especially when you don't have probable cause.
That is probable cause. Don't.
So,
Do you want to have a seat on the bumper?
sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Have a seat.
Absolutely.
Now that you calm down, we can have
I'm
an
not
adult
ecstatic.
conversation. Huh?
I just went with the scene. And the scene was he was overbearing with it.
Well, there was a lot that was going on. He didn't know, okay?
If his camera's on, just watch it.
Okay, yeah. We'll watch it.
As soon as he came up, he started twisting me. As soon as you had that other hand, he starts twisting me. Of course, I grab fingers because he's sitting there twisting up.
Well, I
And
de-escalate.
when I wasn't resisting.
Well, you were grabbing my fingers. And that's not normal.
Yeah, I'm being twisted.
That's right.
Yes, not twisted. I'm not. I've never been arrested. I normally don't get twisted up.
You're not arrested.
By people who just show up, pull up, and then instantly violate my rights.
What's your name, sir?
Mike Simons
Okay,
already
Mike.
told you this.
You were talking to him, Mike. My name is Deputy Rodriguez. I didn't know what's going on. We detained you because you were agitated, and plus you had a weapon on
wasn't
you.
swinging, wasn't doing anything.
No, you
I
really
have
had.
a constitutional right to run my mouth.
But we have the right for our
Sure,
safety. For our
sure,
safety.
'cause, I was pulling everything. Oh, I got a gun here after I told you where it was
Yeah.
and you pulled it out. See,
You
that's
did.
a little overboard.
No.
Yeah.
It's for our safety, okay?
Yeah.
Why do you got to act like this? I'm talking to you like a normal
I'm
adult.
tired of overbearing tyrant police officers. They're just yes men and women. It's annoying.
We're tired of people act like you acting like this.
Yeah, after the fact of coming out here, I'm in the shop, I get a call, my kid, I don't even know if it's a cop, I don't know them. I know my kid's being assaulted, that's all I know, so I come out here all ready to go, and it's an officer in front of my car, they have the keys, why didn't he ask for the keys? Do you own the car? Not, hey, identify yourself.
Well, he told my partner.
You don't identify yourself.
Well,
you do not have to
yes, you
identify
do.
yourself. Sorry for standing up.
No,
It's
yes,
just,
you do.
the
If
finding,
it looks like someone's stealing the car, rumbling into the car, that is probable
I get
cause.
it. I get that.
Right off the bat.
I
And then
get
you tell
it.
them to f*** off, and that right off the bat, things start
Yeah,
escalating.
it's constitutional right.
To tell him
Yes.
that he's breaking into
Freedom of
someone's
speech.
car?
To tell an officer when they're in their own car. If he was a criminal
He didn't
officer,
know
he
that.
wouldn't be saying that, would he?
Yes, he would be.
Oh, he'd be saying that. Oh, off, officer. I'm
Yes.
in the car. Wrapping him up like that was not the scene.
I was
watching him twisting him up.
Was he resisting?
I don't know. He's a fellow peckerhead mouth. He's a little tiny guy with a big mouth. My son.
Okay.
Because he knows he's seen enough of this and knows what you guys do, especially when nobody's around. And if you were to investigate, somebody would be asking real questions, not just we'll wrap you up. Isn't that a violation of the First Amendment, buddy? Where's your camera? Isn't that a violation of the First Amendment?
Can we talk like adults? See, you're not talking to me like an adult. So that's why I shut down.
I'm still in pain right now.
You're in pain?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
What your hand? Let me see if you want to take you out of handcuffs. I'm gonna take you out of handcuffs. Okay?
That's
Can you watch
up
him for
to
a
you
second?
guys.
Can
It's
you
up to you guys. I'm just waiting for a sergeant. I see stripes.
Can you stay right there? Do you want me to take him out of handcuffs or no? Not yet. Okay. Have a seat. Just go and lean up against it.
Can I lean against it? Because it kind of hurts with the handcuffs being
lean up
smashed.
against it. There you go.
I did, and it smashed
Are you
in
gonna
my
listen to me and
wrist.
stop interrupting?
Go ahead. Spew your spew.
You're not gonna, you don't care anyways.
It's past the point, isn't it?
So if there was two guys breaking into a car,
I'd want you to wrap them up. But unfortunately, it was my kid that you actually twisted up. Like you came over and twisted my shit up.
I asked him to have a seat on the ground.
Like you came over. That's an unlawful order. He was not doing
Right,
it.
you're going
Can
to
you
jail-
see it
you're
from
going to
ours?
jail too.
Sure, go ahead. I'm stuck here.
Can you hold on? Let's double lock those real quick.
Deputy Tyree decides to arrest Mr. Simons as well. In his police report, Deputy Tyree claimed that, now quoting, Mike's yelling was escalating the situation, causing Damien to become even more uncooperative. Additionally, Mike was positioned behind the spotlight of my patrol vehicle, therefore was not visible to me, armed, and was continuing to yell profanities at me. However, in the Wilson case that we discussed earlier in this episode, the Court of Appeals of Nevada interpreted the obstruction statute as applying only to physical conduct and so-called fighting words, and not to speech that's protected by the First Amendment. The Supreme Court defined fighting words in the 1942 case of Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire as those that by their very utterance inflict injury or tend to incite an immediate breach of the peace. And in the landmark 1971 case of Cohen versus California, the court determined that mere profanity did not fall into the unprotected category of so-called fighting words, and instead was protected by the First Amendment. Accordingly, it is unlikely that a court would conclude that Deputy Tyree had a lawful basis to arrest Mr. Simons.
My shop's unlocked. My car's unlocked.
What shop is yours?
Behind the radiator. Is the veteran locked up too?
No.
So he can lock up the shop?
He's sitting there. What's his name?
Jonathan.
Okay. Everything's in here.
All right. He wants you to lock up his shop, okay? Because they're both going to jail.
May I ask why?
For obstructing. If they would have done what you did, none of this would have happened.
It's off your wall.
Your wallet's right there, man.
I drove by. I drove by. I see two guys getting there.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
Kid's a little
And then that kid, what the
enthusiastic, but yeah.
And I asked him to have a seat. He tells me to off. What do you think's going to happen? I don't know if you guys are breaking into this car or not. All I wanted to do was confirm it was his car. If he would have said, here's my ID, call my dad, I would have been gone 20 minutes ago. All right. He wants you to lock up the car.
Yeah, that car can't be parked like that. I'll get towed.
Both Mr. Simons and Damien were transported to the police station. However, while Mr. Simons was released without being booked, Damien was charged with both obstructing and resisting and released on bond. The resisting charge was later dropped, but Damien was prosecuted for obstructing. On June 21, 2024, a criminal bench trial was held, and a judge found Damien not guilty of the offense and acquitted him. According to Mr. Simons, he filed a complaint with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office on April 15, 2024, but was told a week later that Deputy Holdridge was a quote-unquote exemplary police officer and that he had not used excessive force during the encounter. Mr. Simons and Damien intend to pursue a civil lawsuit and are currently representing themselves after being unable to find an attorney to take their case. Overall, Deputy Tyree gets an F for initiating a baseless detention, using excessive force without legal justification, and wrongfully arresting a bystander for protected speech. Although a pair of individuals accessing a vehicle at night might superficially trigger suspicion, that suspicion was extinguished as soon as the car keys were presented. But Deputy Tyree proceeded as though the Fourth Amendment didn't apply. Damien's refusal to sit or identify himself would only have been unlawful if Deputy Tyree had reasonable suspicion to detain him, which he clearly didn't. Despite this, the deputy grabbed Damien without warning, slammed him into a vehicle, and threw him to the ground. Under the so-called objective reasonableness standard outlined in Graham versus Connor, this was an excessive response to mere non-compliance, especially since there was no crime, no flight, and no threat. Furthermore, Deputy Tyree doubled down by arresting Damien for obstruction, despite the fact that Nevada's obstruction and resisting statutes require that an officer's order or request be lawful. Deputy Tyree's use of force and subsequent charges were legally unsound from the start. But he took it a step further by also arresting Mr. Simon and claiming that his yelling contributed to the situation and citing his possession of a firearm. As mentioned in many previous episodes of ATA, voicing profanities and dissent, especially toward police officers, is protected by the Constitution, and the idea that Mr. Simon's cursing and criticism could legally amount to obstruction ignores long-settled First Amendment precedent. Deputy Tyree's actions reflect a reckless disregard for constitutional protections. He escalated a peaceful encounter into a violent altercation, fabricated legal grounds for multiple arrests, and then attempted to justify it all with legally meaningless claims about officer safety and emotional disturbance. This interaction highlights how vague suspicion, when paired with an officer's unwillingness to disengage, can escalate into unlawful detentions, baseless arrests, and force that serves no purpose purpose but to punish disobedience. Mr. Simons and Damien get an A for responding to an unlawful detention with calm defiance, demonstrating exemplary restraint while under pressure, and asserting their constitutional rights without crossing legal boundaries. Although he had a few choice words for the officers, Damien conducted himself in a manner that could only be described as passive resistance. He did not attempt to flee, did not strike the officer, and made no verbal or physical threats, while also refusing to comply with unlawful commands, standing his ground when confronted without legal justification, and without physically resisting Deputy Tyree's takedown. Mr. Simons also deserves credit for the discipline he displayed in a emotionally charged moment like this. Watching an officer violently throw your child to the ground is a scenario that would push many individuals past their breaking point, especially while armed. Mr. Simons limited his protests to verbal criticism, which, while passionate and laced with profanity, remained protected under the First Amendment. His conduct never crossed into physical interference, and he made no move to threaten or intimidate the officer, despite being legally armed at the time. That level of self-control in a moment of justified outrage speaks volumes about his character and his understanding of the law. While their words may not have been filtered for a courtroom audience, neither Mr. Simons nor Damien engaged in behavior that undermined their credibility or violated any laws. I commend them both for remaining calm, principled, and unflinching in the face of official misconduct. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.